It is the order of Monday morning. Good morning. What we've got here is a very, very cute uh, tarot card drawing by Brianna Seary, who helped illustrate my Book of Ordinary Oracles. And here is the Tower card. Okay. The house of God, a tower high, by God's own hand is blasted. But the world would stop, all life would die, if forever had it lasted. Destruction is the catalyst. The tower's decree is clear. By war and danger, you'll be transformed to greet the coming year. Now, I hope that isn't terribly personally prophetic. Uh, it wasn't meant to be, um, but it is very appropriate because Constance and I, in our ongoing Monday Night Magic class, this is the order of Monday morning, but there's a Monday Night Magic class here in Sacramento. And we're going through the Thoth Tarot, and one card at a time, the trumps of the Thoth Tarot. And we have gotten to the Tower card. Okay. And of course, we use the Crowley's Book of Thoth as the textbook for our class series. So we read what Crowley has to say about all of these cards, and we, project big images of the details of the cards and discuss it and read collateral material, some of it by Crowley, some of it not. Collateral material relevant to the card and its position on the tree of life and its Kabbalistic and divinatory meanings. So Constance and I have been, in our weekly lead up to each class, have been enmeshed in the talking about the tarot, or the Tower card of the tarot. Excuse me, it's raining out there, so I couldn't walk to the coffee shop. I had to impose upon Constance to brew me up an extra cup of coffee this morning. Anyway, couple things. This is one of those things where I don't know where to start, so I'll start in the middle and work my way out. The Tower card, or the Pei, the Hebrew letter Pei, is that area that goes between number 8 on the tree of life, where it says all 4 8s, to all 4 7s. So it's the horizontal path. See, I got 2 Tower cards resting on their sides there in that path that leads between Hod and Netzach, or 8 and 7. Okay, so it's one of just 3 horizontal paths on the tree of life. There's the Tower Pei, then there is the Leo card, the Lust card, that goes between 5 and 4, and there is the Love card up there in the supernal triad that goes from 3 to 2, the Empress card. But the Tower card is that very important card. And as you're climbing in your magical career, everybody has a magical career. Sorry. We are, as we evolve and as our consciousness expands, all of us in our own way it goes from 1 and we awaken into 9 and then we awaken into 8 and we awaken into 7. All of us, sorry, every monad of evolving consciousness is on this trip, so you're all part of the club. Okay. But this is a very important one in so much as it links the intellectual, mercurial, Ruachian level of consciousness of 8. It links it to this love thing. And also the destructive nature of love too. The Venus, as embodied in Venus, of 7. So it's the first thing that tries to draw both sides together. And you would think, oh, that's a wonderful, it's a unique and oh, let's cooperate and oh, let's attract. Okay, let's balance out our intellect and love. But look what card it is that is joining them. It's the Tower. Pei, Mars. The Tower. The official name, or the original name, is the House of God, or the destruction of the House of God, just like my little poem that I started out with. So I'm going to put this back where it belongs because I'm losing my tarot cards here. Okay. Crowley's got this diagram, and I've got a bunch of arrows. I've sort of butchered it with my notes here. But see, it's that horizontal path going from where it says practicus, that's the degree or the title of the level of consciousness associated with number 8 there. There's no actual ritual involved, but that's where you create your magic cup. And Philosophus. Okay. Those are 2 steps. You first that, then that. And where the tarot card, the Tower, would be in that horizontal thing, it says ritual and meditative or meditation practices to destroy thoughts. In other words, you can't think your way up the tree of life after this point. You got to do a great deal of thinking until then, though. They're in practice. But in order for you to actually open the door to that Venusian, Netzakian unity there, that will eventually open wide the gate to the Holy Guardian Angel there in number 6. It's the ritual and meditative practices to destroy thoughts. And look what I've scrawled there in my, if you can't read it, neither can Constance. It says Liber Turis 16. And what is Liber Turis? It's a Class B document, just 2 pages long. Okay. I found it this morning in my Equinox Volume 1, Number 6, which is, which I tell you is a very, very well-worn and well-used volume of the Equinox. It's got the rites of Eleusis in it and all sorts of stuff, but you can find it anywhere. Just Google Liber Turis, which means tower in Latin, TVRRIS, and you can, I'm sure you can download it. I'm going to share it with you today because I'm going to share it with class tonight as part of our discussion on the tower card. So, without further ado, I'm going to take another slug of coffee from my Babylon 2, the album nobody has. Okay. Liberturis, or tower. Subfigure 16. Now they're all numbered from 0 all the way to 16. Wouldn't you know it? This practice is very difficult. The student cannot hope for much success unless he have thoroughly mastered asana, yogic asana, and obtained much definite success in the meditative practices of Liber E and Liber HHH. Now, of course, those are found in Magic and Theory and Practice, Book 4, all sorts of other things. And those are practices that you have been practicing and trying to master on your way up. Okay, from here to here to here. Okay, and you've been using these, and this is called the slopes of Abiegnos. Okay, you can find it anywhere. So you've been practicing these things all on your way up, and he's saying, hey, just you better be mastering a bunch of that, because you have to have a whole lot of shit to destroy. Otherwise, destroying just little shit's not going to work for you. Anyway, on the other hand, any success in this practice is of an exceedingly high character, and the student is less liable to illusion and self-deception in this than in almost any other that we make known. In other words, don't be afraid. Just start tackling this thing, okay? And he's got a little editor's note here that says the meditative practice in Liber E consisted in the restraint of the mind to a single premeditated imagined object exterior to the student, simple or complex, at rest or in motion. Those of Liber HHH in causing the mind to pass through a predetermined series of states. The Raja Yoga of the Hindus is mainly an extension of the methods of Liber E to internal objects. The Mahasatipatthana of the Buddhists is primarily an observation and analysis of bodily movements. While the present practice differs radically from all of these, it is of the greatest advantage to be acquainted practically with each of them, with regard firstly to their incidental difficulties, yeah, and secondly to their ascertained results in respect of psychology. That was a Crowley digression. The first point. The student should first discover for himself the apparent position of the point in his brain where thoughts arise, if there be such a point. If not, he should seek the position of the point where thoughts are judged. The second point. He must also develop in himself a will of destruction, even a will of annihilation. It may be that this shall be discovered at an immeasurable distance from his physical body. Nevertheless, this must he reach. With this must he identify himself, even to the loss of himself. The third point. Let this will then watch vigilantly the point where thoughts arise, or the point where they are judged, and let every thought be annihilated as it is perceived or judged. The footnote says, this is also the opening of the eye of Shiva. Fourth point. Next, let every thought be inhibited in its inception. I'm starting to squash it. Stomp on that. Nope, don't do that. Stop. Fifth point. Next, let even the causes or tendencies that, if unchecked, ultimate in thoughts, be discovered and annihilated. The sixth and the last point. Let the true cause of all be unmasked and annihilated. And of that cause of all, he has a footnote. Mayan, the magician, or Mara, also the dweller on the threshold in a very exalted sense. Let the true cause of all be unmasked and annihilated. This is that which was spoken, those things, those six. This is what was spoken by the wise men of old time concerning the destruction of the world by fire. Yea, the destruction of the world by fire. The biblical, Kabbalistic biblical foundation of that is when God was so pissed at humanity for being such jerks that he caused the flood. Okay, that just wiped out all sentient life except for Noah and the DNA that he rescued, and afterwards. After this orgy of drowning all of his created life, God sort of has in his hangover of lust, death, says, "Oh God, hey, look, excuse me. I promise I won't destroy the world by water again. Okay, it'll be fire next time." Okay. And oh, that makes me feel better. Okay. This is the dweller on the threshold in a very exalted sense. Okay. Yea, the destruction of the world by fire. Now, what follows here are verses of a modern origin. Let the student remember that each point represents a definite achievement of great difficulty. Let him not then attempt the second until well satisfied of his mastery of the first points. In other words, kind of get a solid thing for each step here before you move on. This practice is also that which is spoken by Frater P. in a parable as followeth. Okay. Now this is a parable. Doesn't have to make Makes sense. It's an archetypal cartoon that you watch and chew on. Foul is the robber's stronghold, filled with hate. Thief strangling thief, and mate at war with mate, fronting wild raiders, all forlorn to fate. There is no health nor happiness therein. Manhood is cowardice, and virtue sin. Intolerable blackness hems it in. Not hell's heart hath so noxious a shade, yet harmless and unharmed and undismayed, pines her in a prison an unsullied maid. Pinned by the master mage to his desire, she baffles his seductions and his ire, praying God's all-annihilating fire. The Lord of hosts gave ear unto her song. The Lord of hosts waxed wrathful at her wrong. He loosed the hound of heaven from its thong. Violent and vivid smoke the levin flash. Once the tower rocked and cracked beneath its lash, caused inextinguishable fire was ash. But that same fire that quelled the robber's strife and struck each being out of lust and life left the mild maiden a rejoicing wife. And this: there is a well before the great white throne that is choked up with rubbish from the ages, rubble and clay and sediment and stone, delight of lizards and despair of sages. Only the lightning from his hand that sits and shall sit when the usurping, I'm going to say it again, okay. Only the lightning from his hand that sits and shall sit when the usurping tyrant falls can purge that wilderness of wills and wits. Let spring that fountain in eternal halls. And this, here's another one. Sulfur, salt, and mercury. Which is the master of the three? Salt is lady of the sea. Lord of air is Mercury. But now, by God's grace, here is salt, fixed beneath the violet vault. Now by God's love, purge it through with our right hermetic dew. Now by God, wherein we trust, be our sophic salt combust. Then at last the eye shall see 3 in 1 and 1 in 3, salt, sulfur, and mercury, crowned by heavenly alchemy, to the one who sent the 7, glory in the highest heaven, to the 7 who are the 10, glory on earth. Amen. And the final 16th line to Liberturus is, and of the difficulties of this practice, and of the result that reward it, let these things be discovered by the right ingenuum of the practicus. Because that's what it's going to take to get to Philosophus. Confused? When in doubt, blow it up. Until tomorrow, I'll report on Monday Night Magic class. Uh, if if we make it through. Anyway, until tomorrow, continue to be good to yourself, be good to each other. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will.